back to the Learning Clinic on CKLU 96.7 FM. I'm your host, Bob Kirwan, and we are going to conclude this afternoon's session, which is with Ron Dupuis, who's running for the position of mayor of the city of Greater Sudbury. Ron and I have been talking for well over an hour now on a number of different things, and Ron, just kind of concluding comments. I know that you and I both have a strong feeling for the involvement and the acceptance of everyone in the community for some ownership in the future of this community. And for my entire life, it's volunteers and people who have given of their time to help in their own specific little regions or their areas of interest that have really kept the community spirit alive. And without them, I don't know how any community could survive. And I know Sudbury is huge with volunteers, and you've done a lot of work with volunteers over the years. So before we go, if you have a chance to give us your perspective or your feelings about the use of volunteers going forward.
For sure. Well, we celebrated the National Volunteer Week a couple of weeks ago, and during that week, so many organizations and so many companies speak and honor volunteers that do tremendous work for our community. As you stated, I mean, when you think of the hours that people put in, whether it's flooding a rink or delivering meals to seniors or just giving rides to doctor's appointments or anything at all that volunteers do is just phenomenal. And in Greater Sudbury, we are so blessed to have so many volunteers that are not doing it for the glory, but just doing it because they care for one another and doing it not to be recognized, but just it's part of their fabric, it's part of what they want to do, and it's just truly amazing. And I'm always happy to go to volunteer events. In one day I attended 4 different volunteer events, and I can tell you, you see so many people, and the age difference is so varied. You have people that are 8 years old and are doing things for pets, and you have people who are in their almost 90 years old who are bringing the newspaper in their apartment complexes to their neighbors so that they know that they can't get out of their apartments. And you know, all of these things is what makes Greater Sudbury what it is. We are a proud community. We are a strong community. We are a community of volunteers, and not enough can be said. And how do you say thank you? Wishing all of the volunteers to continue doing what they do, because they do have a significant role to play, and they do improve the quality of life of everyone they touch. So we can't do that enough. We can't express our gratitude. So again, volunteers are what makes us special.
Yeah. And I think you and I have both done our share of volunteering. I probably haven't done as much as I should have, but I do know that you can sense when you say thank you, or when you smile, or when you just give acknowledgement of what a volunteer has done, what it does to it. It just, they don't need much. Like you say, most of the volunteers, they don't do it for recognition. Some of them are actually embarrassed when you give them recognition, but just saying, you know, I really appreciate what you did, or you know, what you did for that person was really, really nice. That's all you need. And I think if there's anything that any of us who maybe don't volunteer enough on our own and give our hours is we don't give enough appreciation to the people who do find the time. And that's all you have to do, is say, you know what, I wish I could have given some time, but I really think that what you did was nice. And that, you can't pay people enough when you give that kind of recognition. And so, attending their events, when they put on an event and they plan something and people come to it, that's all the thanks that they want, that they've actually done something that makes a difference. I don't wanna leave here before we have a chance to talk about, you know, what it is that you feel you bring to the table as mayor, because I've told many people, you know, I'm not running against any candidate in this election. I'm running for Ward 5. I'm running for the people. In other words, I am a choice. I'm giving people a choice. So in terms of mayor, is there anything you can kind of expand upon? Is the choice you're giving people?
Well, I am, and I'm offering something different. I'm offering experience. I'm offering leadership. You know, over the years, my colleagues have elected me deputy mayor on a number of occasions, and there's a reason for that. When I always try to get consensus, I always, you know, when it comes to councillors and the mayor, you don't have to agree on everything. But at the end of the night, what you have to do is make sure that a decision has been made, and it is what the majority of council has decided. And we have to live with that decision. Whether you agree with the decision or not is irrelevant. The majority has spoken, and that's what you have to trust and respect. I will bring again to council, I'm gonna bring the fact that everybody is going to be heard, everybody is going to be respected. Our council is going to be one where we are going to be available to the people. You know, we're going to be going out and meeting people in their communities. We're going to have some public input sessions. I'm going to be present at the community service centers. And I'm going to be available for, you know, a few hours, and we're gonna listen to what people have to say. They're gonna be invited, they're gonna be able to come and talk to me, and we're gonna listen. This is what it's all about, is making sure that Greater Sudbury has its voice back. And I'm gonna do that. I'm going to make sure that my colleagues understand how important it is. I'm gonna make sure that, you know, we are a team, that we have to work with staff, that staff has to work with council, that staff and council has to work with the mayor, and the mayor has to work with staff and council. We're all part of a group, we're all part of a team, and again, we have to make sure that the decisions we make are the right ones. So I'm looking forward to coming back, Bob. I really enjoyed myself here today. I know that there's a lot of issues that we haven't touched upon, such as seniors and a multitude of others, transit, and again, you know, handy transit. There's so many issues that need to be talked about, and I will come back, and anytime you invite me, and you know, I wouldn't mind having people calling in and asking questions and so on. I think it's a great forum, and I'm happy that I was able to be a part of it today.
No, I'm really glad you were able to come in. We are going to be video recording our radio interviews, so that we will be keeping an archive, so that when we do get into, I guess, round 2, or getting into you know, the summer months and the fall, we'll be able to have sessions where we're on a specific topic. So we might do a half an hour just on seniors, and like you said, we might bring in a few people, open up the lines for some call-ins, so that we can develop an archive of information and issues. And I'm personally looking forward to keeping that, so that over the next 4 years, this becomes like a library of issues that we can even return to and say, well, these are issues that were discussed by people, let's listen to what they said again. It wasn't a political debate, it's not a meet the candidate debate where you're trying to put each other down. We're gonna have a discussion, and we're gonna listen to what people are saying about the issues. And so everything that we're doing here, to me, is developing a curriculum that can be used moving forward. And so the more candidates for council that come in, even the ones that don't get elected, we can keep their information online, and it becomes something that we can refer to as elected councilors, time and time again. So today was a good start. I think we covered a lot of areas, but like you said, we could be here for hours covering each specific issue. But I think in terms of setting the groundwork and giving people an idea of just what it takes to move forward in a leadership capacity, regardless of whether you're a ward councillor or a mayor, there's certain philosophical principles that have to be adopted around that table. I think that we covered a lot, and it's been great. It's been a good show. So again, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. And I just want to remind everybody that if you go to thelearningclinic.ca, you can get a schedule of who's coming on the show at any given week, but you can also find the links to the videos of the program. And I know that a number of the councillors and possibly Ron will be doing the same thing. They're going to be using different clips from the video, possibly on their own website, so they can expand further upon the issues. It's all about education. It's all about information. I think too often we forget that the people who probably need the most education are the voters, who have the least amount of knowledge of what it takes to run this city. And glad you could find time to come in, and we are looking forward to having everybody in and having you in many more times in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. So stay tuned to the Learning Clinic on CKLU 96.7 FM. We will take a break and be back later.